Okay, let's talk about parallax errors. Parallax errors are accuracy errors that occur depending on how we look at a device. So when I look at this device here, let's just say I want to measure what is the mass of this object. So I'm just going to zoom in here and see what we get. But let's just say I'm sitting at the lab bench and I don't really feel like being in the front, so I'm just kind of over here. If I look at this device from over here and try to take a reading, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to say this looks to me like the answer is about 2.41 grams. Now, if I were on the other side here and I looked at it, I'd say, no, you know what? That looks a little bit more like maybe 2.66 grams. And neither one of us is correct. The best way to circumvent parallax errors is to look at something front and center, which is fairly obvious, but sometimes you forget it. So let's just think about this here. If I look at it from the straight and center, what I find is that looks like it's about maybe 2.56 grams. Now, so the main way to avoid parallax errors is to look at things straight and level. Parallax errors basically are caused when you look at things from an angle. Now, if I was to look at, say, this here, and I look at it and say, well, first of all, I can look at it straight and level. If I look at it straight and level, what I find is it looks like I've got about 21.38 centimeters. But the problem is if I go over here and look at it, now it's like, oh, look at it. Over here, I'm already up to 22 centimeters. And if I look at it from over here, it's down to about 20.5. So as always, the answer is to look at it from above, from straight and level. But one thing I want to point out is another way of reducing it is by getting the device in question as close to the measuring device as possible. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift this up in the air. Now look how much difference I can get when it's up in the air, far away from what I'm trying to record. So the one way of reducing parallax errors is to get the measuring device as close to the thing I'm measuring as possible. So watch what I'm going to do. This time I'm just going to move this up onto its edge. And what we find is when I do it this way, there's really very little room for debate. When I look at it this way, what I find is it is 21.47 centimeters. The closer I can get the closer I can get the tick marks to the thing I'm measuring, the less likely I am to have parallax errors. Parallax errors are caused by looking at things from an angle, circumvented by looking at things straight and level, and keep the things as close together as possible.